Welcome Exiles. In the last video, we began our farm of the Genesis tree to start gathering up some currency. We also got very lucky on some crafts, and then ended by swapping over from Elemental Hit to Tornado Shot. In this video, our goal is to get ourselves a Mageblood and really turn this into an endgame build. I'm going to be explaining everything that I'm doing along the way, so I hope you'll be able to learn something from this. And more importantly, I hope you enjoy. The build feels so much better now with Tornado Shot. Ellie Hit's a really great skill, Lightning Arrow is too, but I just don't think anything even comes close to how satisfying a good Tornado Shot build is. Thanks to the Expedition's End that I'm using, I freeze basically everything on the screen. Except for Vroon. That guy could not care less. Build go. So I've picked up a Thread of Hope, 2 large cluster jewels with some really strong damage passives, and also 2 medium cluster jewels with really strong damage passives. The Thread of Hope is what's really interesting here though. As a ranger or a shadow, you have really easy access to this jewel slot you're seeing right here. If you put a Thread of Hope with the massive roll in this slot, you have access to an incredible selection of major passives without having to path to any of them. It's an incredibly valuable jewel and is not too expensive, and it's definitely worth me picking up at this stage. Just while I'm farming some currency, I thought I'd explain how I choose what upgrades I aim for, because that's a really hard decision for newer players to make. Personally, I always have the mindset of how much will an upgrade speed up my mapping, and is that speed increase worth the investment? In the previous video, I felt like my damage was a little bit low, so I chose to get a big upgrade to my bow. At that point, my damage was really good and my move speed was great, but I felt like it was a little bit hard to clear through so many enemies all at once. So I decided to use my leftover money to get a +1 arrow quiver. And then finally, I swapped to Tornado Shot. That's personal preference, but in my opinion, Tornado Shot's just the best at clear speed, so I went with it. I think I just saw Valdos. Hey, it was a Valdos on the floor. I'm always torn between selling them or opening them at this point of the league. Huh? Okay, a Squire, a Valdos, and an Astrolabe in one map. That's a lot of money. It could be more money. Ah, bollocks. I actually need to look up how expensive this thing is. Hold on. It's 37 divines? I thought it was going to be like 15. What the hell? Okay, you know what? While we've got some good RNG, Tree, it's time for dinner. Eat your veggies and make me rich. Ah, an ancient orb altar. That's actually kind of cool. I've never seen one of those. I mean, I love ancient orbs. They're the fun orbs, like always. I love gambling them. Oh, they're not as fun as a divine orb though. My body is a machine that turns mana into arrows. Nameless here, buddy, that is not a good place to be sitting. Hey, never mind man, you're going to be handing out 100 chaos items like that, you sit wherever you want. It's been 30 minutes, Tree, you better be hungry again. So I've brought up all of the maps for the Pinnacle Boss Guardians, as well as some unique maps, and I'm going to run all of them with the Maven witnessing them. After that, we can work on some of the Pinnacle bosses themselves. That should cover most of the Atlas talent points that we're currently missing. With those extra points, we'll be able to grab some really important stuff on the Atlas tree to make our farm way more efficient. Wait, what? Seriously? That's the first mob of the first pack of my first map of the day. Today's gonna be a good day, I guess. Malkun has to be the worst unique map. No one wants to help Fairgraves dig up his booty chests out of his booty holes. We're just finishing up all the Pinnacle content for the Atlas points now. I've just killed off the Elder and now the Shaper. Both of them Maven witnessed. And that means I unlock my next Voidstone. We also quickly run a Maven witness Cirrus as well. Mechanics? No. Damage? Yes. And that's the Maven dead, unlocking another Voidstone for us. So by Maven witnessing all of those Pinnacle bosses, I've been given an invite to what is considered to be one of the hardest pieces of content in the game, the Feared. This fight includes squaring off against the Shaper, Elder, Cortex, Cirrus, and the Incarnation of Dread all at once in the Maven's arena. Now my build's main defense is freezing the enemy thanks to my Expedition's End, and trying to freeze these guys would be like throwing an ice cube at a polar bear. Wearing a Snuggie. It's pointless and probably suicide. So let's see how this goes. I think my therapist is going to need a therapist after I tell him about what just happened to me in that arena. On the plus side, we got a few hundred chaos from all the boss drops, and we're only missing 5 talent points on the talent tree. Honestly, I probably won't even bother getting these points because they're all locked behind really annoying content that I really just don't want to do. I have the points for what I plan on doing now, and what I plan on doing is speccing into Beyond. Breach spawns a huge amount of enemies in a very small area, making it the perfect mechanic for triggering Beyond enemies to spawn. We also unlocked our 5th fragment slot during that, so I can get back to mapping and test out a few options. First, I want to try a Beyond Scarab of the Invasion, since it adds a really nice amount of enemies and it only costs half a Chaos Orb. I'm going to try and run some Defiled Cathedrals to try and find a Nameless Seer. Every map drops a very specific set of divination cards, and the Nameless Seer lets you scry a map, meaning that you can take the divination cards from one map and make them drop somewhere else. Defiled Cathedral has, in my opinion, the best set of divination cards by far, and so I'll be using this scry mechanic to replace the crappy cards from Beach with the expensive ones from Defiled Cathedral. But nah, come on, it's my first run. This character's RNG is so fucked, people are gonna say I'm cheating. You're just a chill dude, ain't you, buddy? So, I had the plan of buying a 2-flask Mageblood. People ignore the 2-flask Mageblood a lot, but you can buy a corrupted one for pretty cheap. Equip 2 high-value flasks, like Quicksilver and Silver with good rolls, and then use unique flasks and a life flask to fill out your other 3 slots. It's really underappreciated. However, I've had an idea. If I were to buy one of these Magebloods, it would cost me around 52 divines minimum, 55 if I chose a good implicit. Well, a full set of the Insane Cat card currently costs around 81 divines. The Insane Cat card gives me a randomly rolled Mageblood with a corrupted implicit. So for 26 more divines, I could gamble to get the chance at a 3 or even 4 flask Mageblood. Worst case scenario, I lose 26 divines. Best case scenario, I end up with an enormous profit. I can already afford to buy 5 of those cards, so I'm going to grab those and keep mapping to afford the rest. But before we start those maps, it's time to eat your fucking dinner, Mr. Tree. I see potential divine orbs here on the floor. Yeah, okay, so this loot could have been valuable if it had actually rolled high. I think it can go to around 6 divines if it's a high roll, but this is like the worst roll possible. And we got a Foulborn Red Dream, which is now sitting at 6 divines, so yeah, money. And there's a divine orb. And a divine orb altar. It's the boss altar, sadly, but you're never going to hear me complain about 4 free divine orbs. Give me the orbs, give me the orbs, give me the orbs, give me the orbs. Ooh! I think an enemy just killed me and I dropped them a divine. They actually just beat me up and took my lunch money. We farmed enough money to buy 2 more Insane Cat cards. That means we've only got 2 more left to go and we'll be able to gamble for our Mageblood. By scrying Defiled Cathedral's div cards onto Beach, I've turned myself into a right ungrateful bastard, because now every time I get a tink that is just a divine orb, I get so disappointed. But after a couple more disappointing tinks, and a less disappointing one, we find ourselves back at the tree once more. This time we get ourselves a Foulborn Kikazaro and a Foulborn Red Dream again. The Kikazaro held its value at 2 divines, but the Red Dream has somehow found its way all the way up to 13 divines. And with that, we have enough to buy our last 2 Insane Cat cards, and to finally gamble our Mageblood. So we're praying for a 3 or a 4 flask roll Mageblood here, and a good implicit would be really nice, but even a 2 flask with a nice implicit isn't an awful loss. Again, absolute worst case scenario is we lose 26 divines, but we could potentially get something insane here, and the odds actually kind of favour us. Oh, okay, now that is absolutely profit. This turned out to be well worth it. It's not a 4 flask, but there is no way I can be sad about a result like that. So I just did some quick checking on the trade website, and this is worth roughly around 105 divines. So that's a 24 divine profit if I were to just sell it right now. I'm gonna try it out for a bit though. Let me just quickly pop these bad boys on and... oh my god, I love this belt so much. So as you probably know, I've been using Tornado Shot as my primary source of damage. What you might not know is that I also have a Mana Forged Arrow setup that will give me some extra damage and also provide me with Frenzy Charges with the Frenzy Gem and Power Charges with the Power Charge and Crit Support. So far, this Mana Forged Arrow setup has only been on a 5-link. So I want to quickly try and 6-link my bow so that I can add in the Tornado Gem, which is a very unique skill that acts as an enemy for my projectiles to collide with and then chain off of. It also soaks in my damage as if it were an enemy and reflects 10% of that to nearby enemies. Pretty much, more chains, more damage, more good. Oh come on, surely not. That was 20 fusings.
You can't keep getting away with it!
Oh, Mageblood, how I've missed you. Mapping with this thing is a feeling that just cannot be described. Also, in case you're wondering if I've been dealing with any server issues, yeah, I have. I'd say around 40% of my maps are like this, and it's gotten a lot worse since I added Beyond into my strat. Hey, just a quick editor's note here, this was around day 3 when I said this. I had a plan to do Breach and Beyond since the patch notes were released. I had no idea just how bad Breach was gonna get. After buying the Mageblood, I'm pretty much broke. Luckily, the Mageblood has made mapping incredibly fast compared to before. Again, I value my upgrades based on how much they're gonna speed up my farming, and nothing could have ever come close to this kind of speed. Except maybe a Headhunter. Ooh, that's a big sword. That's actually my second T0 unique from doing this, after the Squire drop. Maybe this would actually be a really good MF farm. Maybe we could just farm like Mageblood and Headhunter with this, who knows? Oh hey, another Tink, what the hell? Oh my god, I just made the worst realization, I'm an idiot. I still have Pierce on my gloves from when I was playing Elemental Hit. So, for those of you who don't know, there's a lot of stuff you can do with projectiles, and there's a very specific priority list in how these things work. So, first, you fire a projectile. Then, if you have any split in your build, it will split. Then, if you have any pierce, it will pierce. Then, if you have fork, it will fork. Then, if you have chain, it will chain. And finally, if you have a way for projectiles to return, they will all return. So the problem here is that pierce comes above chain in the priority list. So when I've been firing out my tornado shot, instead of hitting an enemy and chaining off of them, it's been piercing through them and hitting the ground. My clear speed should go up a lot after noticing this mistake. So yeah, TLDR is that for anyone playing a chain build or a fork build, do not include any pierce like I just accidentally did. Hey, another Divine Shrine. It's a boss shrine again, but free money's free money.
Come on, Tree, what the hell, man? I told these people you were cool, you're embarrassing me.
Oh, good heavens, that's a big one. Okay, get me to Faustus immediately. Oh, and a coin of knowledge. Ow. Just your everyday casual 34 divine drop. And before you say it, yes, this character's RNG is fucked. I will be deleting it at the end of the league. Thank you for your understanding. So I've played with the Mageblood for a few hours, and as much as I love it, I've come to accept that I kinda need a Headhunter instead. The strategy I'm running is pretty much just enormous packs with tons of rares, and although a Mageblood is great, that kind of strategy is just where a Headhunter shines. So I'm going to sell off the Mageblood, take the profit, and I am not going to buy a Headhunter. I'm going to buy the Fiend. That's right, we're doing the div card gamble again, except this time it's version 2.0 with the other big belt. But there's actually something strange about this gamble, in that it's not a gamble at all. Headhunters are currently 92 divines at the very cheapest. A full set of the Fiend costs around 85 to 88 divines. So if I buy a full set of the Fiend, I'm guaranteed 4 divines profit. But I'm also getting a corrupted implicit. Someone make this make sense. Okay, that's actually just the worst roll everywhere. Goddamn, okay, well, at least we can sell it for profit and just go again. So I was AFK, but as you can see, the Headhunter sold for 92 divines, actual profit. I don't know why it's showing the normal leather belt as the icon next to it though, that's weird. We'll buy up some more of the Fiend cards, and this time we're getting 3 of them for a little bit cheaper, so this roll is going to cost us around 87 divines. Okay, let's hope this one goes a bit better. What the fuck is that? Oh my god, it's amazing. I love it so much. Honestly, part of me just wants to sell this one too for like 30 divines profit and just keep doing this over and over. But in the spirit of the challenge, I'm just gonna proudly wear this bad boy and just carry on farming the tree like we planned. And that's where we're gonna leave it for this episode. We've acquired a Mageblood and a Headhunter, weirdly enough. Had a few really big drops, and we've gained some real direction for the build, which we can finish off in the 3rd and final episode of this journey. Thank you all for watching. I'd also like to say thank you all for your support and your feedback. I've posted 2 videos so far, and I've already received far more support and feedback than I ever could have imagined. I have never recorded or edited any kind of footage before, and as far as YouTube tutorials and self-teaching has got me, your feedback is by far the most valuable tool I've had for learning. Thank you again for watching. I'll see you in the next one for the finale of this journey.